The fastest way to improve your communication is to stop speaking. You heard me right? Because communication doesn't start with speaking. You know what percentage of your communication is actually verbal? It's just 7%. Speaking only contributes to 7% of your overall communication. Most people try to focus on the 7% while completely leaving behind the other 93% that actually matters. So, where does all this 93% go? It goes into things most people never notice, never think, and never fix. That's why you can explain something very clearly and still feel misunderstood. Today, I am going to give you the hidden code for that 93%, from the power of silence to the AI tools that will 10x your vocabulary. I won't take much of your time. I'm not going to bore you with all the theory, psychology, or fancy terms. Just give me a few minutes and I'm going to change the way you think about communication. And I promise it'll all be worth it. The first and the foremost thing that matters is listening. Most people assume that they are great listeners, but let me tell you, they are not. They listen just enough to speak. They're always on the tip of their toe waiting for their turn to speak. But real listening is uncomfortable because it requires silence, presence, and patience. When you truly listen, you're not waiting to speak, you're trying to understand. Always give room for the other person to speak and wait for a second or two before responding. That gives them a feeling that you have truly understood whatever they have said and they feel respected. The moment you stop listening to reply and start listening to understand, your communication instantly improves. Now, once you have listened, you eventually have to speak. That's where point number 2, vocabulary, comes in. And no, vocabulary is not about using big words. It's not fancy English, and definitely it's not about sounding intellectual. Strong communicators don't use more words, they use precise words. They know how to speak more by speaking less. A limited vocabulary forces you to over-explain. This is exactly what I meant when I said you explain something very clearly and still feel misunderstood. Why? Because you lack vocabulary. A strong vocabulary gives you control, but the real question is, how do you build it? You don't build vocabulary by memorizing fancy words. You build it by practicing. Here are some practical methods that will help you improve your communication. First is reading. See, let me be very honest with you. I myself don't read that much and I really don't want to recommend this as a means to improve your vocabulary or communication because I genuinely don't know how effective that is. But I'm keeping it at the top because I've heard people say that reading does improve your vocabulary. So just give a try and let me know about your experience in the comment section below. The second proven technique to improve your vocabulary, I'm telling it a proven technique because I myself follow this and it has helped me a lot. That is to watch movies, series or shows in whatever language you want to improve your vocabulary. See, in the initial days it's going to be a little challenging because if you're not comfortable or familiar with a particular language, you may have to switch on the subtitles, but that is completely okay. But the main point here is you shouldn't be watching it with an intent of improving your vocabulary, you should be watching it with an intent of understanding the story. Don't look out for big fancy words in the early days. Make yourself comfortable with the language and the accent first. And then once you have familiarized yourself, go beyond the story. If you are looking for something in English, then I would definitely recommend you to watch the series Suits. Suits is one of the best series ever made. Every scene, every episode and every season has something for you. And if you love quote scenes like me, then that's a cherry on top. The third technique to improve your communication is to fix your voice, tone and pause. See, here is where things get interesting because your words are only a part of the message, but your voice, tone and pause, they speak before your words do. A rushed voice sounds insecure, a flat tone sounds disconnected, and no pauses sound nervous. But a pause creates authority. When you pause, people lean in. When you slow down, you sound confident even if you are not feeling it yet. Fourth point is to feel confident and build connection with the person in front of you. Most people assume that confidence comes from courage. Yes, I'm not denying it. To some extent, it does come from courage. But more than courage, confidence comes from connection. When you feel connected with the person in front of you, your body relaxes, your breath slows down, your voice stabilizes, you stop performing and you start communicating. Confidence is not about impressing people. It's about making them feel understood. Let me tell you a quick story. I recently had an interview with one of the US-based companies, and in one of the rounds, I happened to meet a senior professional. And during our call, I couldn't help but notice some guitars and guitar cases kept behind his back. Then I casually asked him, "Are you a musician?" To which he replied, "Yes." And then I told him that I used to be a saxophone player as well in my college days. and that moment literally changed the way how that interview went through. Because we felt connected, he kept asking questions like, what kind of saxophone did you play? What all instruments did you have in your band? And that conversation went on for quite some time, and it felt more like a casual conversation than an interview. So always try to find the common ground to have that connection. That is when you get confidence and you speak more fluently. The fifth and the final point is practice. Knowledge without practice is just a dream. If you really want to get good at something, you need to practice. But the real question is, how do you practice communication? So my recommendation here would be to start a YouTube channel. Just look at my videos. If you go back to my first or second video, you will see a totally different Gurudutt. Bad posture, bad body language, no expressions and gestures. But now, I feel I have become a lot better and I love it. The camera is the most honest coach you will ever have. It shows you your stutters, bad posture and your weak points. You don't have to post your videos. Just record yourself explaining a topic for just 5 minutes. Not more, not less. 5 minutes. Do it consistently and you will see the change. Now comes the bonus point. Today, you have an advantage no generation had before. That is AI. Tools like ChatGPT and Gemini really help a lot. They help you refine your thoughts, expand your vocabulary, and even for practicing, all without the fear of judgment. I use these tools on a day-to-day basis, even for my script writing. I'll have a rough idea on what to speak, but sometimes I find it difficult to articulate my thoughts. That's when I lean to these tools. I give them my script, they organize my thoughts, and it's so helpful. Finally, if we have to take one thing from this video, then let it be this. Communication is not about sounding smart, it's about being understood. And that starts not with speaking, but with listening. If this video has resonated with you, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.